What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Dancers or Athletes Do podcast, where we discuss the athletic aspects of dancing. I'm your host, Slim B. So, in this episode, we have as guest Admir. Admir, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing? Slim B, you all right?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm really happy to have you on the show. So, for the listeners who don't know you yet, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes. It's an honor to be here. So thank you for having me already. I appreciate that. So I'm looking forward to the conversation that we're about to have. So I go by the name of Admir. In French, Admir. In Dutch, Admir. So yeah, I'm already making some jokes with my name. But Admir is my name, and what I do is mostly I contribute to raise a lot of awareness about the infinite possibilities within the hip hop dance culture, but mostly breaking because that's my core activity. But I really contribute to help and like to raise awareness about these subjects. Secondly, I guide individuals and groups through the process of their artistry, movement wise, but also education and harmony to reach just guide. But also, of course, myself, I'm still in process myself, and we always are. But the knowledge that I know, I try to share with the people around me and the people that are interested. And you're one of them. So you invited me for this, so I'm ready and willing to do that. And also, I'm coaching athletes in reaching full circle potential, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So if I zoom in, what I really exactly do, since 2 years, I'm the Olympic head coach of Flemish Belgian breaking. I also see myself as a high performance coach. I really try to get dancers, b-boys, b-girls, but also just athletes to reach their most high performance. And also, I'm a Red Bull consultant. So I try to share my knowledge as a b-boy, as a dancer, with Red Bull, who is contributing also a lot to the breaking scene, to the dance. I'm a creator, an inventor of the full circle methods. What that is, I will mainly also share with you later. Take a break philosophy is a method to bring people together, and take a break stands also for like to take a break, but also to take a break. In a sense, like take a break, rest, but also action. The break stands for the rhythm, the break of the music, to take actions, to move, to do things. Also, I'm an event host, like at Cash the Flavor, Red Bull Dance Your Style. I've done the Legends Blast, and I've done a few live stream commentary at big events, which is also interesting. For the rest, I'm a b-boy myself since my 12 years old, so I've been almost 20 years in the game. Right now, I represent Belgium With Attitude. Also, Team Schmera used to be also my crew. I am also involved with Together We Stand, which is a home of hip hop in Ghent City, which is mainly run by Sam of Psycho B-Boys, which is also one of my family crews from the city here. And for the rest, man, to be honest, I'm constantly growing, constantly learning myself, constantly trying to develop and to upgrade myself as a better dancer, but also as a better coach and as a better human in the first place. So that's a little bit a long introduction about myself.
Yeah, but already a lot of interesting things to talk about. So you've been dancing for 20 years or more than 20 years. So how did it start? What did you do first? Was it breaking from the beginning? Did you do something else? And maybe in between? Did you teach? You also mentioned coaching. We know that you already also do a lot of battles, won a lot of battles. So can you maybe quickly guide us through the history of your dancing?
Yeah, through the timeline. The timeline is super interesting. It has a lot of layers, ups and downs. It's a lot, because almost 20 years is a lot of time. But the way I started was just actually I moved as an immigrant kid to Belgium from Balkans, and I was, I think, 8 years old. So then I got in contact with breaking in school where I saw some kids actually just break, and immediately it got my attention. It got my attention because, I was seeking for some communication and for some exchange. I couldn't speak Dutch yet that well, so that wasn't already the way of communicating with people. So I needed something, I guess, something more physical, something more movement wise, or something more in the sports, or in the self expression um, uh, direction. And breaking was there at the right timing, at the right moment for me. And that was when I was 12. It was in Ghent, and then through the youth, through the young guys who were doing it back then, they took me to a dance school where there were breaking classes. Actually, it was more like, a little bit organized breaking classes, and I started following these classes. And from there on, it started. Actually, I got, let's say, I call it the magic, because that's the first time I felt the magic of feeling certain freedom, that I could express myself without using words, because I couldn't, or I didn't know yet how to communicate in that language. But movement was something I was always doing, because from where I come from, I was always really, let's say, athletic, like a sports lover. So I was really, climbing, and I was very athletic. So breaking was immediately there for me. And later on, hip hop became a bigger thing for me, because as you move on, of course, you need to keep on growing, and you need to keep on going. And hip hop was there as a culture then. First it was breaking, but then hip hop was more than just breaking to me. I started to understand the culture around breaking, started to understand the message and the values that it has. And I'm really talking about, like the self-expression, the message behind it, the depth of it, not just the flashy things, the flashy things like yo, can you do a head spin, or can you stand on your hands, or
Yeah.
the mainstream stuff. But I really, when I started getting in touch, it was these details, it was these values that got me through a lot of things, and it educated me. So then, of course, once you really start loving and the magic is still there, you just feed it then. I feed it myself, because, of course, in the end of the day, you got to make decisions, and you got to go practice. Practice is not easy. You got to go use your body physically, day in, day out, train 24/7, sometimes night sessions, sometimes skipping school earlier to really go quick to training. So that's like the motivation was really high. And then competitions came along, and then you get to learn, and it grows like branches and branches, and then you start traveling from the small Ghent city to Antwerp, and then to Brussels, and then you go to the Netherlands, and then you meet more people, and then you go to Germany, and then you go to Paris for your first time, and then you take your first time your plane, and then you start traveling, and that's how actually the world then becomes a small world. And you start traveling all over the world, and before you know, you're just doing it, instead of actually what first used to be a dream in the beginning as a kid, of course, because you never thought I would travel. You never thought I would do that as a job today, or I would do that as something day in, day out. So you just did it as a kid. You just were doing it, and without thinking too much. So that's a little bit how it started, and how it grew to where I am today, I guess. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that's already a small trip down memory lane.
Exactly.
To get there. So now you're a coach
Yes.
too, or I mean, you've been a coach before, as you mentioned. Like, coaching is one of the things that you do, but you're a coach within Dansport Vlaanderen.
Yes.
Can you explain what Dansport Vlaanderen is and what it exactly does?
So Dansport Vlaanderen is a dance sport federation. It's a federation like you have, for example, gym federation for gymnastics, or water sports federation for water sports, and so on. So Dansport Vlaanderen is a federation for dance sports. That's an organization which does events, which does a lot of projects, camps, and now we have breaking as a chapter of also Dance Sport Federation, and breaking is then where where I was chosen as a head coach to of course to start the plan for the Olympics, through to go to the Olympics 2024, which is going to be in Paris. So that's Dance Sport Federation, and my position within there is within the breaking chapter, of course, not within the whole organization, because
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
big organization that does a lot of things, and mostly actually I don't know everything what they do. So I'm like,
Mhm.
actually I was thinking before, like, okay, what do they actually do? And they do a lot. And so, but breaking is the thing that I know everything about, I guess, not everything but mostly, and that's where I'm head coach
Mhm.
for the program.
Yeah. You mentioned the Olympics. I mean, it was
Yes.
big news when it was officially announced that it would be part of the Olympics 2024, the ones that are happening in Paris. So, yeah, then Transport Vlaanderen or Belgium was okay, we're going to send some of our dancers or athletes to the Olympics, or at least get them qualified to go to the Olympics. But how does it actually work? Is it with qualifications? Is it with ranking? Do you have to participate in certain battles, get to the finals, semifinals? Like, how do your athletes get into the Olympics?
Mm-hmm. So just to be clear, everything is still a process.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is still in development. So everything can change. Everything can take another twist, another, because it's new. Like we know, it's new. It's fresh news. So fresh news means, okay, let's start working to create something which is not waterproof yet, 100%,
Yeah, yeah.
and it needs development. It needs growth. It needs changes. So whatever I might say might change in a
Mm-hmm.
few months or in a few years, or whatever I might say might not be correct in a few who knows, in a few months or in a few weeks. So, but for now, what I can tell you is that the plan exists of two parts. One part is the high performance, and the other part is the community net culture. These are the two
Yeah.
parts. So, how do you get in touch with us if you really are someone, a b-boy or a b-girl who wants to get in touch with the high performance plan? Because the high performance plan is really for high performers, for people who we think and who the organization thinks and who we think really can make a chance for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course there's a lot of criteria, but then I'm not going to go too deep into it because it can get very complicated. But there's criteria that we follow, and there's a lot of things that of course you gotta be able to show and prove to be able to be a high performer
Yeah.
dancer. So and one of them is, for example, to really be on a top 8 international level.
Mm-hmm.
So we have already two high performer dancers, which is one of them Beagle Mad Max, and the other is B-Boy Mighty Jim. Both reached the top 8 level on the international breaking events platforms. So,
Yeah.
and the other one now is the community net culture. What's the community net culture? The word says it itself. Community net culture. Within our community, there is so many different people from different cultures, in the
Mm-hmm.
community. But also within this culture that we have, breaking culture or hip hop culture, there is so many different communities. And what we want to do, we want to really bring a platform where everybody can connect, and it creates this net, so everybody can come and try. Whether you think you're high level, whether you think you're just trying it as a hobby, whether you think I just do this for my, for to win my bread and to really make it a job, or whether you think I'm underground, I'm raw, and I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to go. It doesn't matter. You can always learn, and that's what we believe. That's what I believe, and we want to provide that with the community net culture. But from there, of course, if you show up and if you're present during these events, during these sessions, well, of course you show yourself. So first of all, that's the first thing that we expect from everybody who wants to join an Olympics plan, is
Mm-hmm.
that you show up. And when you show up, then from there on, of course, things can start for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you show you have a level, and if you show you're respectful, and if you show you're professional, and so on, then, and of course things might start for you. But of course, next to that, there are gonna be a national circuit. national championship, and that actually mainly will decide in the end who goes to the Olympics. It's
Yeah.
not us, it's not me. So I just want to take that thing away. So it's not my responsibility at all. It's going to be organized, so it's not there yet. It's not sure yet. So, but I think it's going to be really like a circuit of events or a national championships, and
So
probably
per
there.
for every country, yeah, sorry. So for every country, we'll have these championships basically to determine who's the best in that country, and that one will go to the
Definitely.
Olympics.
Definitely, yes. And what we do with the high performance plan is we prepare really these dancers to the Olympics, to the 2024 already
Hmm.
now. So we really
Yeah.
work towards long-term goals, and of course we have also short-term goals. But we really like we take it really professional, and we make a plan for these athletes, athletes. We call them athletes because of the artistic
Hmm.
athletes, and we really wanna already create the path to the Olympics 2024. And there is so much out there to learn, man. There is so much, and that's actually how I think it is. So if people want to join the program, it is possible. Of course, with the COVID situation,
It's
we are all
tougher.
handcuffed, so we cannot do
Hmm.
much. But as soon as we are free to organize things, you will see more online communication. But
Yeah.
for now, we keep it a little bit closed because we cannot open it for everybody, and that's
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
everybody the same. So even for us, really, we can't wait to be able to go and,
Hmm.
and, and to go with the flow and make it sure that everybody can join, but we can't. So
Yeah.
that's just the COVID situation for everybody,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. A lot of styles are dealing with, especially like classes or events, battles that
Definitely.
haven't really been happening for a long time now. So yeah, that's a struggle for everybody. You already mentioned two people like that are
Mhm.
part or official part of the team. Will
Yes.
more dancers be added, or is it starting with two
Well,
for the
it's
first years, or is it like I can maybe there's a limitation like maximum two people with we pick the two best that we think are the two best, or is it well we just look at a certain level? If it's five people, it's five. If it's only two, it's only two.
I think it's what you said, the last one. Like if it's we look at the level, but you gotta also see it like this. Breaking is just new in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm,
We're
mm-hmm.
just actually we're happy to get what we get at this
Yeah,
point,
yeah, yeah. Of course.
because there's other plans too that also asked for a program and they didn't get it. But that's the thing. We are really happy that we work really
Mm-hmm.
hard to get what we get, and to already have two high performers who get really full support from the from Sport Vlaanderen and Dance Sport Vlaanderen. It's already really a position that we are thankful for. And will it be more if the level of Belgium grows? I believe it will be more. I
Mm-hmm.
compare us to look at for example, the gymnastics. They have these tremendous big sport halls, and they have everything equipment where they can. But if you look at their history, of course, they've been here for so long already. They have
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much
of course.
resources, and they have so much. So we cannot compare us to them.
Mm-hmm.
But we start small, and if we are humble in it, I think we can grow. And if people really have a certain vision for themselves, and they believe in themselves, I think it can grow. It can grow. But of course, I also believe that if the level is not there, then why should we have five, six, seven?
Yeah,
If
yeah, yeah.
if only two dancers can prove that they can run with that they can play with the world level, then it's going to only be two dancers. But if there's four or five dancers that can prove that really are on that level, then it's going to be more interesting, but also harder choices because we're still
Mm-hmm.
a new plan. So
Yeah, yeah.
but also really I challenge and invite everybody to work hard and prove that you really are in that top level, and that you're ready and willing to do it. I think nice things might happen for anyone. So yeah, so it's still so much. It can go so much directions. Like I said in the beginning, what I say now might
Change.
really change in a few
Mm-hmm.
years, because it's constantly in process, and the process is we learn so much every day, every week, and our brains go like, whoa, I didn't know that like a month ago, and right now I see things differently. So also take actions differently. And the same with the dancers, to be honest. The same with the athletes that are in the high performance plan, and even in the community net culture, because we have also there more dancers. So even there, you see them really already opening up and getting rich of knowledge and growing really daily.
Yeah. So you mentioned already, like, yeah, people are looking at it differently, or you have like people who will, if they join the program, increase their performance, maybe get more visibility to be able to change the program. You also just mentioned, like, yeah, that they think already a bit different because it's now part of the Olympics or part of like an athletic recognized or official big competition, let's put it like that. So what will the Olympics do for breaking internationally in the like long and short run? And what new opportunities will be like presented because it's part of the Olympics specifically?
I can already tell you what opportunities already created so far, and
Mm-hmm.
we're just starting. So it really created opportunities in sense of really professionalizing what we're doing and bring it to another level, because we got to be honest, as b-boys, we were already just doing it and not
Mm-hmm.
even thinking of overthinking what we're doing. And some of it might have taken it to that next level, but it was never the, let's say, it was never the intention to do it. It was
Yeah.
just, let's do it. And some, maybe 1% of the people really said, okay, I'm going to really bring it to the next level. And I remember I used to take care of my body. I used to go to a kine or an osteo. I used to
Mm-hmm.
really try to find information, but it was all self-investment. It was
Yeah.
all me trying to find it and not knowing it. So right now, as a coach, it is my job to provide these dancers everything. And I mean with everything, I mean like that if they need something to speed up, not speed up, but to make their growth more quality. That's the better word, really, quality. Then I will do it. And we created a team of kine, physios, mental coach, nutrition. We even have musical
Mm-hmm.
approach. We have different breaking coaches, because I don't believe, also I might be a b-boy myself, but also I'm a full circle, like holistic approach. That's super important. It's not just about one thing, and there's so much aspects that can help these dancers grow. So that's, I think, what they saw the last years. In the last years, they saw
Mm-hmm.
so much things. So the, let's say, for the two athletes that are now as high performance, they see a physical coach twice a week. They see a kine once a week. They see they are in touch every week with me as a head coach. They see also the other trainers every week. So they have a full packed weekly program that they follow, just to grow, as a dancer,
Yeah.
like process wise, to learn how to take care of their body, to learn how to take care of their mental approach, to learn how to deal with this pressure too, because it's a pressure at the same time too.
Mm-hmm.
Because before we just used to do it for fun and just no pressure at all, and we will see what happens. But right now there's a certain pressure, and
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
pressure can also be, let's say, dangerous. But at the same time, for some people, it might also be a drive,
Mm-hmm.
because some people really love to live on that drive. Let's go, on that pressure, and I'm one of them too. I love that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Bring me the pressure, and I will perform. Is there no pressure, and I'll be like, where do I need to get the energy to do something? Like, but pressure is good, but of course it cannot be too much. You got
Mm-hmm.
to be balanced and controlled. I don't like to say balance, but sometimes you got to go out of the comfort zone, and of course not always stay in the chill zone, like comfort zone too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so yeah, we need that. And Olympics is a little bit out of comfort for many people,
Mm-hmm.
out of the comfort. But it's actually, for some, it's a panic zone. For some people, it's really even, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Man, it's okay.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
It is okay for everybody to choose whatever they want to do with their breaking, because their breaking, that's what matters. They're
Mm-hmm.
themselves. They're, as a person behind it. That's what matters. So stay true to yourself, and if you want to go for it, come and join us. You can go for it. If you don't want to go for it, perfect. Perfectly fine. You can still get in the ciphers. There will still be events where you can just do underground stuff. There will be events. So it will all exist, and it
Mm-hmm.
can coexist, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this or that. Of course, the Olympics will be there and it will get so much media attention and all that. But in the end, it's our job to educate people. So it's our job to
Mm-hmm.
pass on the knowledge, and it's our job to share what we know and pass on the knowledge. So it's it's in our hands always, whether it's Olympics or not. We as individuals, we are, let's say, actors of this game.
Yeah.
We contribute in the way that we want to contribute, and
Mm-hmm.
it's up to us what we want to share and what we don't want to share, and it's up to us how we perceive this news, as bad, as good, as negative, as too much, as maybe too big, as maybe it might change the whole breaking. Yeah, but then again, breaking is changing constantly, or the dance, or it's changing constantly. It's something that we don't have in control. And even with the life itself, life is changing constantly. The COVID, we don't have it in control. It's also something of life. It's suddenly there, and it's constantly evolving. So we cannot have control over everything, but
Mm-hmm.
we, as actors, as people, it's up to us how we really are as actors within this situation, and how we deal with it, and how we move on. So yeah, the Olympics will have a lot of impact on the breaking scene. I can tell you that already, but it depends on how we deal with it and how we
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
do it, because in the end of the day, we have to do it. We're gonna have to be there. It's gonna be our dancers. It's gonna be our DJs. It's gonna be our. It's just that we team up with one of the biggest sports events in the world, and that has ever existed. So for
Yeah.
us, it's a big opportunity. It's a door opening for the dancing, for the breaking scene, for everybody. I believe it creates so much opportunities in so many levels, but
Mm-hmm.
also it creates also some challenges. It creates some mental challenges too. It creates like, whoa, okay, it's getting that big. How do I have to do it now? And the pressure comes in, and so it's there's pros and cons. I can tell you many of them both, but it's up to us to really to do it, and I mean really up to us with everybody. I might be now the coach, and I might have a certain position, but it's not even about me, you know in the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about us creating this small formula, which will be continued in 10 years hopefully, or in 20 years, which might be a whole new youth with new coaches and new people that might create this whole platform for everybody. So that's I see it in long term.
Mm-hmm.
It's not some short term project. So
Yeah, I mean, it's already more than 3 years before the first edition where we have
exactly.
breaking on it, and then it's again 4 years. So, yeah. So, as a coach, what are your specific duties? So, as a head coach, I mean, I assume that you will not need to teach the breakers the six step or how to dance or what breaking music is. I guess they already have that in their backpack when they arrive in the studio. So what do you teach them? Because of course, if they already have to be like at the top level in the world or get semifinals, finals, they will have, I mean, a certain set of skills already. So where do you work on? Is it maybe less foundation or more other stuff, more battle related, or what do you work on then specific for your position as head coach?
Interesting, because what you said was nice in the beginning, of like the they have already a certain backpack. Do I teach them the basic? It's an interesting thing. Of course, I expect them to have all the basics, and hopefully the teachers previous me, or the coaches previous me, they taught them right. And but it's not, let's say, my my job is really to put the athlete central.
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm not a teacher. I'm not going to teach them anything. I'm going to listen to them. What do they need? So, what do you need to become a better dancer tomorrow, next week, next month, next year? Starting from them. Of course, I do have a certain knowledge. I do have a certain understanding of what they might need, but I'm not going to push it to them. I'm going to propose them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to propose them like, look, this might be interesting to you. What do you think? But mostly comes from them, what they want and what they think they might need to become better. And then we will go in a certain exchange. So it's a constant, it's a relation, it's a really trustful exchange between me and, let's say, the athletes, the dancers. So, but what I also give is, of course, my collected knowledge that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I have certain methods, let's say the full circle method, which it's a holistic approach, which I share with them. It's important that they understand this holistic approach. It's important because they might really gain from it. I really believe it. And also, then I have so many methods that I created, and that I also got inspired from other teachers and other people's while traveling. I bring it to them. But also, what I also do for them is create a plan. Really, like, question them, what are your goals, and how are we going to achieve them. So more strategies, and how we going to really work toward their short-term goals and long-term goals.
Mm-hmm.
But also I plan their weekly planning, and okay, the team behind them also. Who's the kine, who's the mental coach, the psychologist, who is the physiologist, who is the, let's say, nutrition, if they need it, if they need to work on that, physical coach. We do
Mm-hmm.
physical screenings, and then also, of course, we have pure breaking trainings.
Yeah.
So there's so much things that I let's say that I planned for them,
Mm-hmm.
and then I presented it to them, and now they are in it, they're doing it. So that's my job, to keep really an overview over it, and make sure they feel good, and their process is really going up. So
Yeah. Yeah.
really having an overview, and making sure they're going forward, they're growing as dancers, as humans, as athletes, and that's actually the main thing. But to go back on the full circle approach, what does that mean? It's a holistic approach. Of course, you got to have your basics, your fundamentals, your foundations. This is super important. I'm going to test them. Of course, I'm going to screen them. What do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Are you knowledgeable enough? Do you have your basics? Do you know your six step? Like you said before, do you have it actually? Can you do it both ways? Oh, you cannot do it both ways, but I'm going to keep you accountable. I'm going to make sure you're going
Mm-hmm.
to train it, because if you want to be on that level, you better be sure you got your foundations. You better be sure you know that you're in breaking here. And I'm going to make sure, as a coach, it's my job
Mm-hmm.
to be sure that you don't fail when you go on that stage in 2024, because it's important to have these foundations and these basics and these fundamentals. If you don't have that, then you want this is not your place. Go train, go back to your basic 1 2 3s, ABCs. And next one is, for example, the energy. The understanding of the music, the understanding of how do you eat. Are you somebody? I used to go to parties myself too. I used to drink sometimes. I used to have fun, but of course, on this level, you got to be clean. You got to be really, really good. So the energy, you can feel it on a person, if it's energy, or her energy is right every time. And it's important to also to hold them accountable for that too,
Mm-hmm.
that their energy is right, and that they feel good, that they eat well, that they sleep well, and all that, and also that they understand the music, that their passion is right. So of course, then I go on with isolation and focus. What do I mean by that? You got to full scan your body. Like, you can control every muscle within your body, every bone, every certain position, every freeze, all that physically, but also mentally and also emotionally, in the sense that that's where also the kine and the kine and the osteo and all these the physical people, specialists, body specialists, come into the game.
Mm-hmm.
How is your mobility? How is your strength? How is all that? So that's where these people play a big important role. And then, of course, you have the levels and directions. Like what is your level as a dancer, and what is the direction that you want to go with your dance, and these kind of questions. So I really scan them through that too, to really find out what they want, which direction they want to go, not also just in achieving, but also just in their dance. How is their dance, directions, levels, how does their body move into space, how does their body place around these levels and directions, jumps, flips, slides, left, right, turning around, going down, handstand, headstand, back to your feet. It's like all these elements, they're just actually basics. And then of course there's timing, and within timing is the planning, is the schedules, is the team behind it. But also in timing, I mean like rhythmic, rhythm, like how do they deal with that?
Yeah.
Because there's a whole dimension into rhythm. There is a whole other level into rhythm, which to be honest, we know only 5% of it. you know it's endless how rhythms can go. It's endless, and it's important for me that they understand that part too, because it's a dance in the first place. I don't care. As a head coach, I always say, I don't care if it's going to the biggest sports events in the world. It's gonna stay a dance in the first place. Music
Yeah.
first, and you move to it. If you're not in harmony, in tune with the song, no matter what you do, you can do 10 backflips and land it. If it's offbeat, you're out, and nobody cares. And this is the first thing. This is for me as a coach. I keep saying that. I keep promoting that because it's super important. It's a dance. It's a dance in the first place, and that's so important. So it's rhythm is so important, and of course then you can go as deep as you want into that. But to go on, then we have to deal with persons here. It's people. So personalities, how do they feel in their daily life? And of course it's a lot of exchange, a lot of talking, a lot of like really a lot of exchange, to be honest, and constantly thinking, and of course some of them have a certain attitude, which is also important, because we're doing breaking, and breaking is hip hop, and hip hop has a certain raw attitude. So we're a little bit, let's say, we wear caps, and we wear caps backwards. We wear baggy pants sometimes. Okay, but that's the cliche. But we still have an attitude, and we're confident in that. We love it. you know we love that music that we have, and we love to do what we do. So it's important to deal with that too. And then of course it's about characters. It's about, we work also about the whole mentally, physically, and the emotionally part. Super important, because in the end, we really support the body, mind, soul philosophy, like to go physically, mentally, emotionally, to be good, and to be really in harmony with everything. So that's where the holistic approach comes from, and the full circle. So we really try to gain as much knowledge and information out of everything. So am I the person who gives them everything? No, I try to really invite people, specialists in their craft, to help these people grow. So I try to invite as many people to the floor, to our platforms, to give them the right knowledge so they can grow. So it's a constantly actually managing, and constantly also myself. I give sessions to them, one on one, but it's also from my approach then. So yeah, man, that's a lot of things. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of elements that come to the game when we're on that level. But I believe that's how it should be, and that's how it always should be. And I wish it was like that even before. But it's such a young culture yet. It's such a young, let's say, dance, because breaking doesn't exist like more than 45 years. So it's something new. you know we have the chance to see all our legends alive, like all the pioneers. They're still out there. So we have this luxury to be able to meet them and ask them, how was it back then? How did it start? So we have full access to all this knowledge, And I think it's our job to really start to develop and to work to make sure it goes the better, and it keeps on going the good direction, and it
Mhm.
will. That's what I always believe. I stay positive, so
Yeah, that's something that we will need for the coming years if we want to get to the Olympics. As a head coach, do you have then other coaches underneath you, quote unquote, that do other things, or is it not like that?
yes,
Yeah, so you
yes.
have other coaches that also give
I
them
don't like to
maybe
say
more
underneath
information.
me,
Yeah,
because I don't believe in the hierarchy.
yeah,
Like I don't like that. I like to use we have a team. We have a whole
mhm,
team. I believe in a team first. And I wrote it down because, like I said, the holistic approach,
mhm.
I cannot know everything. I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I know, and that's it. Meaning, that's not enough, you know? So I gotta ask for help. And I'm humble enough to say, let's go. I need help. And
Mhm,
need help for what? To help these dancers grow. So if people have that same vision, then they're part of the team. And we're all pushing towards one goal, growing
mhm,
and making better dances and creating opportunities for whoever wants to join. So I really I don't believe that only one person owns the answer.
mhm.
So I don't want to see myself as the head coach or this or that. I don't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that in the first place. I never liked it. Um, I never liked the spotlight neither. But I believe in the process of exchanging and growing together
Mhm.
more, because, like I said, it's so new, it's so fresh, and it still needs to exchange and to exchange ideas and to think together, to come together and sit around the table and throw ideas to the table and say, okay, that's interesting, that's not interesting, that we can use, that we can do, that we should do, that we shouldn't do. So we believe in that.
And it's also probably because it's the first time nobody can say, "I've been to the Olympics with a breaking team," because it hasn't
Exactly.
been there. So it's not like past experience doesn't exist yet. You cannot say,
Exactly.
I've been to the Olympics for the last 12 or 16 years. I mean, nobody can claim this. I mean, in 3, 4 years, maybe people can start claiming it that they went there for the first time, but then again, it's only one time. So it doesn't give you a
But
lot
then
of data. But
exactly, but then again, there is never like a one answer to it. And
true,
there's so
true.
many approaches, and there's so much room and space for development. There's so
Mhm.
much room and space for growth, and for this, you need many motivated people and players in the game to join the round table. And of course, I got the title, let's say, head coach, because maybe I really don't know. I never
Mhm.
expected it in the first place, um, that I would get it, and it was so much pressure in the beginning, to be honest. And it's nice. Okay, it's nice to have this position, and I'm thankful to have it. But at the same time, I just wanted to join that team to grow,
Yeah, yeah.
and let's grow together. And now I can lead it, which is still nice for me. But I'm still with the mindset of whoever wants to, let's go. If you have ideas, if you have anything to join to the table, we're always ready and willing to listen. But like I said, the team exists of different people, and you have, for example, Kareem Kalonji, who's one of my mentors, my teachers. He's also part of the team, who's really coaching breaking. Sam from Together We Stand. You have the kine, really like, who was also a breaking a b-boy, who's really kine, who's that's his job, that's what he does. So he's really with the athletes. We have really physical coach who's daily working on strength, on all that. We have Lander, who's a drummer. We see him oftenly. He's super dope. He teaches them really rhythmics and drums and the breaks and so much more, like about the counts of the music, and it's super interesting. These are things, for example, I cannot. I might know some things. I'm a DJ myself. I mean, not a party DJ, but I have my turntables, and I am a vinyl collector, and I have so much, you know. I'm also a graffiti artist. I did graffiti, but I'm not the best in it. I just did it because I'm a hip hop lover. I love the culture. I love all the elements. I used to even rap. I used to even write and have a few tracks actually in my music library. But that's the thing. I'm not an MC. I'm not going to teach what I'm not good at. And 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 also there's so much approaches and there's so much elements that come to the game, and that's when you need really like you need to get the right team there, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. So it's a team thing. It's a team thing. And you have also,
Yes.
like I said, the director of breaking, which is important. Actually, we have which actually the guy who and I don't know if I can name names, but it's Stan Lutz, Stanley from Unbreakable. He's this guy is a master, is a genius into his work, because he used to already organize Unbreakable with the Dance Sport Federation since back in the days. So the connection was already made between breaking and the federation. So there is no issues there.
Yeah.
Everything
So there
is
was already
just Mhm.
some work beforehand, let's say, where there was a connection with.
Exactly, exactly. And that makes it so safe, because when the work was already done before, then you don't have to start from zero. It was already done. And also what makes it even more nicer, and I always say this one, online and offline, it's like, okay, the Dance Sport Federation has already been involved with breaking before there was even talk about the Olympics. So now that the Dance Sport Federation is chosen to do breaking, to be responsible for breaking, so it's an obvious thing that they get this opportunity to do it. So I just follow and respect that, because they already put in work and created opportunities way before. So yeah, it really, it's flowing. It's in a flow state of mind. But I keep saying we have so much to learn.
Yeah, like talking about federations, for people who know Belgium a bit, in most cases when we have federations, we have a Flemish federation and a Wallonian federation. We also
Definitely.
have that for breaking. It's called Adeps. For the people who listened to our previous episodes, we had an interview with T Rock.
Nice. T Rock. He's
For
also from my crew, Belgium
yeah,
With
yeah.
Attitude, so it's super dope.
So, do you have any ideas of their if there are plans to align, as in having a Belgium team? Because yeah, for me, a Belgium team is both people from Flemish or and the Wallonian part. So, is there any way that they're working together or will work together, or is it at the moment pretty separate?
Well, you have the Flemish Belgian Federation and the Wallonian Belgian Federation, and then you have a national federation, which
Mhm.
actually consists of these two together, working
Yeah,
together on top. So that's actually how it is. But they have their own plan, of course, and we have our own plan. So we do things separately for now, but there is exchanges on national. How do you say it? On national level, the decisions are being made together. So there is a
yeah, yeah,
certain round table where everybody joins, and the national decisions are made together. But there's not so much concrete to talk about it, because to be honest, there's no events yet, and also
yeah.
there's
True.
we're not yet to the selection moment. But I
Yeah,
think 1 or 2 years before, we will have to have it. So
yeah,
we're looking forward the way that's going to go. But
yeah.
it's super interesting. So yeah, for the people who wants to know more about that, yes, you have the French, the Wallonian part, and you have the Dutch part. So it's interesting to know that, of course.
Yeah, and we talked like a little bit now about the national part of breaking, but internationally, yeah, you have a lot of different countries. A lot of countries are have breaking. I mean, I don't think there's any country that doesn't have any breakers. Um,
True.
what do you think, or which countries do you think will put forward the best breakers for the Olympics, based on like your experience with breaks from different countries in different battles? Do you say like people in this country, okay, we know that they're professional in the way they're training, so I expect them to be stronger at the Olympics than maybe a smaller country or a country with less breakers even?
I can tell you directly without hesitating. Russia,
Mhm.
Japan, USA. why USA is just USA. USA is always, USA is USA. When it comes to breaking, they're dope. They're nice. Of course, it depends, of course, how they will organize themselves to the Olympics, because it's a big
Yeah.
country, and
True.
the first year is not easy to do it. So it's easier for a smaller country to organize themselves than for a bigger country. Then you have Russia. Russia is already on it also. They're really doing a great job with some people that I know who are doing the organization, and they already have events even. So they're
Yeah.
really growing. Japan already also on it. Japan is really very, very nice, organized, and very strict, and they do great things. But then, of course, don't underestimate Belgium. you know,
Never.
I talked a lot about Belgium, but don't underestimate Belgium, because we have a really good future, and we're already one step ahead of other countries. I think
Yeah.
we were one of the first plans who ever started really like with the Olympics. So it makes us also to it makes us also credible and a chance maker at the Olympics. Next to that, of course, our neighbors, the Netherlands, always been dope with it. They always been really thoughtful about how they do things. They've been one of the first to have big events, big culture events back then already. The notorious IBE, which is one of the biggest dance festivals in the world. They always do great, great, great things. France, of course, but France is still, it's because also a big country, so it's not easy to organize themselves. And France is like there's 10 countries within France. When it comes to breaking, you have the north, you have the Paris, you have Bordeaux, you have like the south. So they have, it's like you go into a different breaking scene when you go to France. When you go to Paris or you go to Bordeaux, it's like totally two different breaking styles. So how can you unite these styles and these visions? It's almost impossible. But interesting, really, really interesting. Other than that, I'm really waiting and seeing. All of the countries are in the process of growing and trying to start something. Some countries have it easier than others, and some countries have it really not easy at all, especially to connect with the local federation. Also depends which country you are in. Belgium, thankfully, we have a little bit more advanced, you know, way of organizing and doing things than other countries. And I hope really everybody gets the opportunity to have a great breaking plan, because I believe in this opportunity. I really wish everybody can gets the same chance. And that's my first fear in the first place as a b-boy. Yeah? Talking really from a b-boy standpoint right now. Like I'm talking from my breaking scene. I'm not talking at all from a coach position, or I'm talking for a b-boy from a b-boy position. I wish everybody gets the opportunity to have a good plan and to have an honest process in it, that
Yeah.
everybody can grow from it. And
Mhm.
and it's not going to be easy, but I hope the right people can get behind and do it, and trust them to do it. So yeah. So like I said, Russia is dangerous.
Yeah, you said like now I'm answering from the standpoint of a b-boy.
Yes.
As a b-boy, don't you want to participate in the Olympics yourself?
That's a good question, man. I still don't know. No, I'm joking. Yes, I made my decision. Um, it's not my time.
Hmm.
I leave it. I leave it up to the youth. I leave it
Yeah.
up to the next generation. I'm 30 right now. I would be 34 by then. Meaning, couldn't I get myself ready to go and do it? Of course, hell yeah. I wish I really got what these athletes are getting, and I would really get to that level. But it's about long term. I might just do one and that's it. But if you have a youthful b-boy or b-girl right now who's really on point already now, might have the chance to go once, but maybe is ready to grow for the second one. See, you see the point. So it's like gain more experience um, from doing it once and then going the second time and taking it or whatever. I believe more in long term, and I believe that it's the time of the youth to do this one. So I was born, let's say, a little bit too late. Nay, too early. Yeah, I was born a little bit too early for it, but at the same time, I was born at the right timing because I'm doing this, which is also really, really a great opportunity to be doing this. But that doesn't mean that I'm not doing competition. I'm still doing some underground competitions, and I'm still training. But
Yeah.
also physically, I've used and misused my body already on so many levels that, I don't know, injury wise and things like that. I
Mhm.
have been dealing with some things too. So it's looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself, like, what do you choose now? It's making a choice, waking up and having to breathe that choice and say, okay, that's it. Um, it's hard because you go like, I'm still competitive, and I'm really competitive. If you know me, then you know me, and I'm all about competing and being the best in what I do. But I'm also all about sharing and sharing everything that I do. So there's two sides to this competitiveness that I have. So but I stay in the breaking scene. I stay in the battling scene. So I will be there. So whenever, as from a b-boy standpoint, like I said, if yeah, if you want to battle, if you want to do anything, I'm always ready. I love that part. I love that sense of it. And I need sometimes to get down on the floor. So I still train also. I still do the necessary things because it's also a therapy for me. It's not just it's a sometimes I really need to train, and if I train, I feel better the next days. And sometimes I really feel heavy and everything is there and life is getting heavy and name it. So I go to training and it's gone. It's
Mhm.
you sweat it out and you process things, and I love it. It's a way of expressing myself. It's always been, and it still is, and it will never leave. For
Yeah.
me, it's a mhm.
Breaking will stay a part of your
Oh,
life
oh,
forever,
definitely, man.
probably in one way or another.
Exactly, man. Exactly. That's what it is, and that's what it will be.
Yeah, great. You provided a lot of information, a lot of
Right.
different things. Before we say goodbye, for the people who want to get in touch with you, maybe learn more about what you do, maybe as a dancer, as a coach, how can they get in touch with you?
I'm always approachable through Facebook, through Instagram, through email.
Mhm.
So everybody can contact me with whatever question they have. Whatever question, of course, is a big thing, but just if they want to ask something, don't be shy, don't be scared. DM me. You have Sir.083. I know it's a complicated name, but also just if you write Admir and then Mirena, Mirena, so you can find me through that. Also, take a break point circle. If you want to send there on Instagram, it's also possible. But if you really look up on Google Admir, and then you will find my socials. So it's not that difficult. But
I'll also show notes so people can just click on it and
all right, nice.
have
Appreciate that.
your pages.
But really, for the people, don't feel uncomfortable to reach out, man. I always say that
Mhm.
it's I'm right here, and don't stay with a question. If you have it, you pose it, and I will really make my time to answer if it's important, and if it's if I feel that you really need to know. um, I will really answer it quickly, and I process everything, all my DMs. I have no unwritten DMs or no unwritten messages. I read everything, and if it's really, really, really important, just call me. I'm really open for calls, and that's the best way. And if it's really, really, really more important, we can also meet. Like, I don't mind. It's For me, it's a normal thing to do. So I'm a human person first. Um, so I leave nobody, how to say it, on the side. So if you have questions about your breaking, about your dance, about your development, about your career, about your life, about anything, I'm there, man. I'm there in the first place. So that's what I do. I'm a community person. I'm a hip hop lover, and I love to share what I know. And I'm also ready and willing to learn. So if you know things, if you think you could help me also, if you could help us also, just reach out to me too. and let's see where we can really puzzle that. So yeah, man, that's really important to know about me. People might think I'm not approachable, but it's really go ahead, try it.
Receiving, don't hesitate to contact Admir.
Definitely.
Okay, great. Thanks again for doing this. There was really a lot of information, inspirational too, of how you approach the coaching, the dancing, the team. I wish you guys all the best. The team, the dancers, you as a coach, and I hope, of course, that's because I'm from Belgium, to see our team shine on the stage in 2024. So thanks again. Take care, and hope to talk to you soon.
Slemby, thank you, man. Appreciate you for having me, and dope that you're doing this. Really, you said in the beginning that you do this once a month, but make sure do it more, do it more. So it's really interesting to do. I've been also checking also some podcasts on it, and it's really interesting. So keep doing it, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Peace.
If you want to know more about podcast, you can find us on social media. We are at DAAT Podcast. DAAT stands for Dancers or Athletes too. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also check out our website at daatpodcast.com. I'm also on social media. Surprise, surprise. You can find me at This Is Slim B. Thanks for listening, and I hope you tune in again for our next episode. Take care. Kobo out.